Welcome to the Triple Takeover Toycast, a fortnightly podcast all about Transformers and occasionally other toy lines, which is very relevant tonight because we're talking about another toy line. There you go. It finally happened. Well, we have done it before, but it has been a while, isn't it?
Wait. It's not me.
What do you mean it's not you?
It's normally the other toy lines. That's my gig.
That's your
What are you
gig,
doing?
yeah.
That's
what
true.
you do.
Oh no!
You're stepping on my toes or whatever the
I know.
saying is.
Anywhere there's tat. Oh,
Anywhere there's a tat.
yeah.
Ooh, is this tat? Oh, Sixo tat. Here we go.
Yeah,
Sixo
six
grey
tat.
tat.
Sat.
It's six tat.
It's Tatso.
Except it's not
That was a
really tat
villain from a Turtles
because
film.
it's Takara tat. It's Tatkara.
Tatkara. Ooh.
Or
Tommy Tat.
Takara, tap me.
Okay. Yeah. This was pre-Tomy though. This is
really?
pre-Tomy. This is vintage Takara. This is like pre-merger.
Never for the purpose of humour, though.
True. Okay. I'll allow it in terms of the humour. That's acceptable. So, but yeah, no, we are talking about something other than Transformers tonight. We're talking about Brave, which is dead exciting. We have discussed this toy line once before on the podcast, but it was a paywall thing. It was a mini-sode where we literally just, I think it was with Maz, wasn't it? And we just sort of said what toys we really liked from the line. And it must have been good because it caused one of our patrons, John Pearl, to go off and buy basically every Brave toy ever within the space of about 3 months. So
Good job, John.
I'm assuming it was a good listen. He certainly got something out of it. So. But yeah, we're back at it again tonight for the first year of Brave Toys. So you're looking forward to this one, gents?
Yeah.
I want to say, man, it's a brave choice of topics. So.
There we go. Get it out your system early.
I know exactly.
Minute one,
Right.
I've been chomping at the bit for that one.
Yeah, of course.
Word of warning. I know next to nothing about these toys.
Great.
Except that I was shot by one. I don't know if that's in this line.
That's not in this line. No, I
Right.
did
You
shoot
were very
with a
brave,
toy.
Jason,
Yes.
that day.
Oh.
You were
I was very
brave about
brave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Foam
He's
bullets.
going to be
I
doing
was
this
there.
all night. He's going to be doing this for the next 90 minutes. Just wait.
Yeah. Shot.
90 minutes, you say? That's not a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true. We'll see. We can turn it into like a little drinking game. How often Liam makes that same joke.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Ooh, you're going to get drunk tonight, lads.
Yeah.
Drunk within 5 minutes at this rate.
Yeah. But no, I did shoot you with a Brave, Jason. You are right. But
You
you're
did.
safe tonight because that was Gun Kid, and that is in a later line
Okay,
from this
right.
series. So
okay, good.
tonight we're all first series, 1990. So
Cool. I'm excited. Yeah, nice.
good. But don't worry if you don't know anything. It's it's not like it's Beast Wars or anything. So there's a little bit of animal themed stuff here, but
is
it's
there?
not like full on hogs and things like that tonight.
Okay,
So
right.
you should be okay.
No men in pig.
No
okay.
men in pig tonight. There's a man in a cat.
Man in a cat. Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of man in cat. Yeah,
Manning cat. What?
yeah.
Matt.
Wow. Ooh. Are there multiple of them?
It's just the one, really. So, were you about to tell me that you think it's a brave choice, Liam?
No, I was going to say there's pussy galore in this episode.
Oh my god! Wow.
Oh.
Name for a cat, innit? Pussy cat.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Does it wear a hat? Is it a cat in a hat?
It does kind of have a hat. Yeah, you'll see later.
It's a top
We'll
cat.
get to all of that. It's actually the last
Man.
one we're looking at. So, we've got everything to go before that. So,
Okay.
Brave cat that wears a hat.
yeah,
So-
you'll see what I mean later on. Before we get to that, I should say, of course, I'm joined by my lovely co-host. I'm Sixo. We've got Liam over there from Toybox Soapbox. Anywhere there's an at. How you doing?
What ho?
There we go. Feel complete now, Liam. You see, I introduced you tonight.
I'm glad. Like it's nice of you to deem us worthy of acknowledging to the people.
Yeah,
On
well,
the old Sixo show over here.
the Sixo show. Someone said that recently, didn't they? And
I know.
your reaction was priceless. They were like, "Oh, on the Sixo podcast."
yeah, exactly. That's why I've been making a point of trying to get you to make sure you introduce your fellow
Oh, is that where it
co-hosts.
started? I did wonder
Yeah.
where it came from. All of a sudden, this introduce me business.
Yeah, introduce yourself right now.
Yeah.
All that.
Well, yeah, I'm Sixo, and these are the Sixettes.
I feel sick. What's happening? Stop this. Down with this sort of thing.
Undo.
Rolls off the tongue.
Control Z.
Yeah. And then, of course, we also have Jason of J-Swags. How you doing, Jason?
Very good, gents. Good to see you both, as always. Yeah, and excited for this one. Feeling brave. as we said earlier.
It's bringing brave vibes.
It is a little bit, isn't
yeah.
it? So
Brave
I'm
vibes.
certainly feeling brave now.
Yeah.
Well, look, before we get into all of it, I should mention that we also do have a sponsor for the evening. That is tfsource.com. So do go and check them out for all your Transformers needs. And of course, we do have a Patreon as well, which I already kind of alluded to. And you want to get yourself on there because that's the really good stuff. So there is a little Brave minisode, as I already mentioned, but there's actually, I think we're on like minisode 94 or something crazy now. Like it's a lot of additional content. I racked it up the other day, over 90 minisodes, and I think it was like over 60 or 65 mini-series now. So it's like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So much stuff. It's incredible.
It's quite amazing as well, because we've got quite a few patrons that are talking to us and they're going back over the original content because it has been like a good chunk of time since they listened to it, and they're revisiting it, listening to it again and getting loads out of it. And it's really lovely because then they come back in and start chatting about those episodes. And I was dropping back into some earlier episodes with you three guys as well. Good stuff. Yeah, it's cool. It's really good.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Making me nostalgic for old times.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, we do have, a little bit of a guest this evening sitting in. If you guys didn't know, did you know about this?
No. What's
this?
Yeah. Liam might have had an inkling. We've got a little guest joining us.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh, you do know? Okay, good,
Yes,
good. We couldn't keep him away, of course. I know we sacked him some time ago and replaced him with Jason. But Maz has decided that he absolutely has to be part of this pod yet again. And so he's actually here to say a few nice words about the upcoming TF Nation minicon that's going on in Manchester in March. So, here he is. Hello, Maz. How are you doing?
Hey. Oh, look at him.
Yeah, here he is. Look, he's there.
Is he there? Is that him?
Yeah, he's just got smaller, I think.
Oh, is he small? He's far away. There he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hi, Maz.
I'm looking around like around my room. I'm actually looking around like.
Anyway, let's see what he's got to say.
Hi, this is deceased Triple Takeover member Maz, here to tell you about TFN Manchester 2025. The minicon is on the 22nd of March, and if you like buying toys, meeting nerds, and hanging out with your fellow podcast members, then don't miss out. See you there. Well, actually, I won't. But you should go.
So yeah, that was Maz. There we go, back from the dead. And he's just there to tell us a little bit of nice info about TF Nation Minicon, which is on the 22nd of March, as I think he may or may not have said. I can't remember now. But you do want to go and see that. He was far away, wasn't he? So it was hard to hear. You guys were so funny because we even knew that we were doing this and we had talked about it in advance. And when I started bringing it in, you both looked so confused. Like what's happening? And it was like, we've talked about this.
I thought it was a joke. I thought you were setting up some kind of weird, elaborate joke.
No, I'm setting up the thing that we discussed that we were going to do, which was get a little pre-recorded snippet of
know me and my memory, right? This is, I know that was only like a few weeks ago, but I struggle.
Right.
And I knew what was coming and was still confused.
I know. Yeah. Hey ho, at least one of us is on the ball, eh? So someone's got to be.
Because you started talking to him like he was there, so I was looking around like
that was the bit. That was the joke. Oh. That was, make it all seamless. I thought, but no. Never mind. Anyway, yes, do go to TF Nation Minicon. If you're not planning on going, I would definitely suggest that you do. I mean, Maz is not going to be there, sadly, but the three of us are going to be there.
We will be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. I love it. One of the best weekends of every year. All the TF weekends are. Weekends? TFN weekends.
TFN weekends.
I really enjoyed Manchester last year. Partly because I got Eva Prime.
Oh, yeah. You get to see Jason strike a bargain.
Oh, well, hopefully. I'd love to. Yeah. I'm thinking, what do I need and want? That's what I need to work out as well. But it's way more intimate than the big TFN. So it's like, the venue's changed this year, though, hasn't it, as well? I think
it has,
different hotel.
But it's also, you're right. It's not as, I would imagine for first-timers, people that have never been to an event like this before, it's probably a little bit more of an accessible one in some ways, just because
easier,
it's not the full, full extravaganza, probably not quite as intimidating.
Yep.
No, it's a room full of friends, isn't it? That's what I was like about it. It's
always.
Even the people you don't really know, you feel like you do in some way. And everyone's really approachable, really nice. The TFN staff are always the absolute best people I know.
They're brilliant. Yeah, so good.
Huge shout out to them.
Billy is just the loveliest guy. And they're all really willing to help, aren't they, as well? Introduce people and show you around, that kind of nice stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that if you are feeling at all apprehensive about the idea of going to something like this, don't, basically, because there will be like-minded people there. It's one of those where I think once you go, even if you're on your own, within the first sort of 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to be like, oh, actually, this is kind of fun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you're just like looking around and browsing tables and that kind of stuff, definitely give it a go, would be my advice. 22nd
Absolutely.
of March.
Yeah.
It is the 22nd, isn't it, Jason?
It is 100%.
You sure?
It was the 23rd in 2024. It is the 22nd in 2025. I just wanted to double check that personally, because my memory is not what it used to be. That we're very aware of that.
Helps when we're looking at the right year in the calendar.
It does, generally. Story of my life. Just look at the right year,
Right, sure.
I was filling in a form earlier and I put 2030. And I was like, God, that's really far in the future. And I realized it was 5 years away. It's not that far at all.
How does he get through the day?
I know, exactly.
But also, make sure you come and say hi as well if you see us.
Yeah, that's true.
Jason and Sixo are easy to spot. Usually headbutting the lampshades and...
Yeah, we're your bodyguards, Liam. That's all it is.
My average height.
We could lift you up. You could put an arm around each of our shoulders or whatever, and we could just like lift you up, and we could walk around as a little trio, just with your little legs dangling.
I'd look like Scarface, from Batman, the little puppet.
Yeah.
This stuff.
It'd be fun though, wouldn't it? It'd be quite fun.
Wow, kids, what are you guys doing in this tables?
I think we should try that.
Toys.
Maybe after a few beers.
Yeah, something to consider, isn't it?
I know, exactly.
Yeah,
it'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm well done for that.
Anyway, should we talk about Brave?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I'm well into this. So I got to tell you,
Feeling brave enough.
I'm feeling brave enough.
Brave Maximus.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on this toy line. I do just want to say that. Moving on, I do want to say that from the get-go. So I know I've sort of been nominated to talk you guys through it, and we're going to do one of those like classic Triple Takeover episodes where we look at pictures and kind of, I suppose, learn about the toys, aren't we? Because Liam, how much do you know about this line? A little bit or not so much?
I'd say I am fairly well informed, but
Okay.
not an expert. Like, I've been around quite a while in these fandoms, and Brave's always been there, so I know a little bit, but it's that little bit where, just enough to get by. But I won't say I know anything, any kind of depth.
We are going to keep it squarely focused on the toys for the most part today, past like a sort of cursory introduction and what have you, because there is the show and everything as well, but that's kind of, I don't want to say it's like a separate thing, but it's perfectly possible to just get into this line for the toys.
That's where the gift comes from, right? Isn't it?
Yes, there are a lot of gifts. There are a lot of gifts. There's the
classic gift that many people will have seen, but they will not know that it's from this. But once you know what it is, you're like...
one. You're talking about the butterfly, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is that? I was wondering.
The one with the guy with the glasses where he's going, is this, that is also from the Brave cartoon.
You often put me in those.
Do I? I do, don't I?
Do.
Yes.
Yeah, when I realise something and I'm like,
Yeah, it's quite a good Jason meme format, that, it's fair to say, on our Discord, yeah. But yeah, so the cartoon is a kind of, its own thing, but it is perfectly possible to just love this series for the toys. And I think the real interest here is that it's basically a what if Takara had continued making Transformers. Like in a kind of Generation 1 style, in a way. Like it spins out from there very quickly. But certainly the first year of toys that we're looking at today, which the line is called Exkaiser, the toys... all, or certainly most of them, started their genesis as Transformers. Like they've evolved up and on their way to the release. They don't look exactly like they would have done if they'd been released as Autobots and Decepticons.
Yeah.
But at least the initial design phase, they were being designed for the Transformers line, past Victory and Zone and all of that kind of stuff that was coming out from Takara. And it was only after Transformers ended in Japan that they moved on and started sort of doing Brave and developing this as well. And actually it became very successful. I mean, believe it or not, when this launched, it was their biggest selling line in 1990. And they described it as one of their best years of sales at the time ever. So it was big. It wasn't like a small little subline that, people kind of forgot about or whatever. Like to us, it seems like a real offshoot sort of, B series, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But in Japan, it was big time, like real big time.
Well, I follow a lot of anime and I always have. And it's that Brave always stands as itself. It's never a spin-off of Transformers or even related to Transformers when it's spoken about in those circles. It's just, if you're a Transformers fan and you know that connection, in that.
Yes, I think that's exactly it. Yeah. It's definitely not a follow-on of Transformers in any way. Like, we should make that clear. And actually, the people that like Brave and talk about Brave don't necessarily get into it because of Transformers. Like, there are people that do, of course, but the two are very much just kind of separate entity, if you like.
So that's kind of interesting, because I'll be honest, because I know nothing about with the timeline for this and everything. So I had assumed that this was a lot earlier, right? And it was I thought it was a lot earlier, and of what I've seen, I kind of assumed it was a precursor to the kind of stuff you saw in Power Rangers with these kind of big mech suits and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I thought it was sitting and what it was competing with. So no idea it came after Victory and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
It's actually, it all kind of spins off from Star Saber in a weird way, which is why I mentioned Victory, because the guys that designed Star Saber basically went on to work on this line. So, and you can see a lot of the kind of same influences and that kind of stuff as well. Like, when we get into it, you will see that. I mean, a lot of it was designed by Takashi Kunihiro, who is a Takara Tomy legend. I mean, this guy worked on like the original Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime, for example, and has worked on loads of stuff since. I mean, he did all of the kind of Autobot Headmasters and Six Shot. Did a lot of the kind of like Victory, toys and that as well. Did Star Convoy, but he's designed stuff all through like the movie lines and all up to like War for Cybertron Unicron as well. So to say that this guy is like big time when it comes to Transformers is an understatement. But he also was like very much led the design of a lot of the Brave toys and things as well. So, and he was partnered with a guy called Kunio Okawara, who had worked on like Gundam and various other things as well. And he very much from the kind of animation side. I mean, he had helped to design Star Saber, but then he worked for the animation studio and kind of was involved with a lot of the design and everything as well. So I think it's fair to say that he did the kind of design, the character design, if you like, and Takashi Kunihiro did the engineering side. Yeah, is my understanding of it anyway. But it was very much these two guys that were like, let's make this new line of robots. And Brave is kind of what came out of it. So, and you can totally see when you look at some of them, particularly today, I think you'll see the Star Saber kind of spin off from there, if you like.
Interesting. So we're kind of talking powered armor type stuff.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah.
Venturing forth into a brave new world. That's what they're doing.
God.
It's a
take
brave
a shot, everyone.
New world.
Yeah. Take a shot. So it all begins in 1990, really. And as I say, the first series that we're going to look at today is called Brave Exkaiser. I'm going to murder the Japanese pronunciation of this, but it's over there, it's known as Yushu Ekuzukaiser.
Are you
Hope
sure?
that's okay. Yeah, something like that.
That's good, yeah.
Give it a go. Absolutely. I thought I'd give it a little bit of a go. Going to murder the pronunciation of that. Someone's definitely going to want to correct me on that. I'm sure they're going to hear it and be like, "What?" But
I think you did very well. So
thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah,
really good.
I was. I thought I'd be brave.
Hey,
oh my god!
Drink up to that.
Yeah, this is the first series. Believe it or not, the Brave as a whole line actually ran for up until 1998, so 8 years, 8 series, but none of them are kind of connected in terms of the story. So there is a cartoon, but it sort of almost reboots each time, if you like. Although really it's the same story, like it's the same story as Victory in a way. Like it's often like a little kid or someone that becomes friendly with like a big robot, and
it's so typical of Japanese anime, the sort of thing at the time, because Gundam is always exactly like that. It's a brand new series with small children again.
Yes, exactly that.
Robots.
Yeah.
But it's the way they kind of deal with these media properties, isn't it? It's when they get a toy line, they make like an anime cartoon. It's similar to how it. Well, I suppose how it still works here in some ways, where it's a toy line cartoon. But over there, it's like a very different attitude toward these properties. Like
hugely.
It's led in very different ways, and they're offered quite separate but connected. But it's very interesting culture and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the thing to stress about this is that the cartoon, it was kind of an animation-led thing, that they were very much like, we want a cartoon and we want toys to go with it. It wasn't like we've got these toys and we're going to make a cartoon around that like it was with Transformers. But I think what they'd done is they'd seen the way Hasbro had approached Transformers and the success that they'd had with having like a cartoon. But it'd become complicated for Takara by this point because Hasbro had mushed all of these different toy lines together, often through licensing and what have you. And for Takara, that was like a real headache because, of course, some of the toys they couldn't release and things like this, because it was like competing in Japan and things like this with like some of their competitors and things like Bandai. So it sort of become a bit difficult for them. So this was their way of like almost taking that inspiration of like having that cartoon and everything and building their franchise around it, if you like. But it was also designed for very, very young children to start with, like 5-year-olds basically was the sort of target age. In terms of the cartoon, so it's not like a serious cartoon at all. Like,
come on, Takara, Transformers are for adults, man. Come on,
right?
Mature storytelling, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Jason, don't be one of them squares. That's what it should have been, man. Give me the hip pouches.
Yeah,
bring back hip pouches. Edgelords.
Edgelords, yeah, exactly. 90s edgelords.
But that's what the best properties I think come from being made for children.
Yes,
like
absolutely
targeted at kids. There's an imagination and a bit more excitement and everything like that, and it connects with you in a different way. Like, when they're made for us, it's not as fun, is it? Like, if you're made for adults, it's like, why? It's kind of
and I think
boring otherwise.
The thing with these toys, and particularly as you get onto later years of Brave toys, maybe even more so, I would say, like it becomes patently obvious that they are designed for young kids. Like it's they're big, chunky, often there's like construction cranes and like animal heads and all kinds of weird stuff that actually if you were designing it with collectors in mind you just wouldn't do. But because now a lot of these toys are hard to find, and because a lot of them are white first of all, like, and so they're white plastic and they're yellow like motherfuckers.
R.I.P.
It's a hard prospect to find pristine copies of some of these toys, but also they are very susceptible to wear. Like they're not often as robust as like a lot of Transformers can be. Like they've got sort of like, I'm not saying that they're crap quality or anything, but like they definitely have like stickers that wear. You get a lot of breakages, that kind of stuff, scuffed chrome and things like that, and so it's interesting now. They can go for a pretty penny on the aftermarket, and I think it's become that thing where now it's looked at as like a real collector line in a weird way, but it's not, because they were very much in children's hands at the time.
Yeah.
But I've seen them at your house as well, and I've seen them before at TFNs and other places, and they are that though, aren't they? That's what they are, like kids' toys.
Very much so.
And that's what makes them work. Even more so than Transformers, with the larger plastic, more plasticky, aren't they?
Yeah, very much. Yeah, they're huge actually, like really, really massive toys. Like you get a few of these in a display, and 3 or 4 of them, you've filled a shelf immediately. Whereas like you could have a shelf with maybe 20 Transformers on, you'll get 4 of these guys, to take up the same room. Like they are absolutely gigantic. Some of them, honestly.
It does make sense now that you said they're for kids as well, because they have that kind of primary color scheme to them as well. It's big chunks of colored plastic,
very much
and
so.
Big bits of gold, isn't there, in some of them and things like that, and the chromed parts as well. So I guess we're going to come to this as well. But do they all have gimmicks as well, or is that a bit of a mix-up?
Yes. Very much so. They do. Now, there is actually technically 2 bits to this line, because there are what's called standard toys and deluxe toys, like in the original Brave lines. Now, I should say that a lot of these characters have been redone in other formats since. Like there are even masterpiece toys of some of these, like Exkaiser, the main character, has a masterpiece toy, which I think actually Evan was talking to us about. I think on the episode where we had Evan Brooks on from Hasbro.
Yeah, he had it in the background, didn't he?
He did, he had the masterpiece Exkaiser. Which he was a big fan of, which looks super cool. But what we're talking about today is very much the 1990 originals, and specifically the DX toys, because the standard toys were like smaller and not as detailed, and very often, if they did transform, it might be like with parts forming or whatever, or like not much transformation at all, because the whole premise there was that they looked exactly or like a lot more like the cartoon, whereas the deluxe toys were basically what you would imagine like a Transformer might be if it had evolved into what we see today. Do you know what I mean? Like they work very much on the same principle as a classic G1 Transformers toy in a lot of ways. But you're right, they are stacked with a lot of gimmicks as well. There's very often firing bits and bobs.
A lost art these days.
Yeah.
Like gimmicks and stuff on toys now. So many toys are designed to look like something off a screen, or they've kind of lost that magic of chucking in electronics and random firing things, or just crazy silly gimmicks that make no sense but are really fun for a child.
It's so true.
So it's a good point, actually, because like when was it? I was thinking about this the other day because I was looking through my collection, and was it Kingdom that had a motorized part to Optimus Prime? Was it in Kingdom? There was like, that was the last gimmick I remember where there was some line, and it was years ago now, but there was this little motorized part. It's like a little add-on bit.
That doesn't ring a bell. In Optimus Prime.
Yeah. And is this something? I'm going to have to go back and look for this because I remembered it the other day and I was like, that's the last time I remember a toy coming out with a gimmick, which was this little kind of motorized thing.
Well, they do it nowadays in what Hasbro termed their kid lines, don't they? Like your Earth Sparks and your Cyberverses and stuff. They have gimmicks in those, but I think the thing with like Legacy and Generations and that is that very often where it's referencing something that was in the past, it's now like an articulated action figure that references. I mean, the one that gets me is like the Armada Megatron. I know we've talked about it before, but silly things like that it's got sort of features, molded features on it, which are callbacks to the gimmicks that the original toy had, except now they don't move. Like it's a bit of a strange.
That's good.
It's kind of funny though, to think that like we've all aged to a point where, say, if they'd have done this 20 years ago, we'd have been like, this is exactly what I want. Get rid of the gimmicks. Now you look at the gimmicks and you feel nostalgic for that. For like the things you're like,
it's true.
It's lacking those. Like it's a very different mentality we all have now. And I think like you are right. Like the kids line still have gimmicks and stuff, but I don't think it's the same now. I don't think it's like as much. Everything's motorized and filled with batteries and lights and big. But I think everything is so cost reduced because of the cost of plastic and stuff like that, isn't it? And then there's this kind of like void in the middle now with toys where sort of the kids lines, they still skew more collector-y in the way the figures are made, a lot of them. And even the ones that still have the gimmicks, it's not like big play school style Transformers, even though you've got play school Transformers.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying.
Like the Unicron trilogy is a great example of toys stuff with gimmicks.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not just Transformers, it's like everything's like that now. Like if you see a Batman figure, it's not in the same way as it was when we were kids, where they all have like rope jetpacks and all this sort of madness. You know, you still get some of that, but everything is very much like it's that Batman reference in this one panel in a comic from 70 years ago, and I'm like, I get that, but like
too niche.
Is it a little bit of a wonder that kids are moving away from toys to other mediums as well, if they're seeing this sort of stuff more earlier, you know, rather than being wowed by crazy ginormous thing that does crazy wild thing that makes no sense, but it's amazing to me as a child.
But then having said that whole thing about like when we were talking to Brian and the play school Optimus Prime that turns into a dinosaur that had that
was cool.
gimmick transformation, and it was just cool. It had sounds and lights on it as well. My son loved that. Absolutely.
I mean, it's interesting because in many ways you get this with Brave as well, because you know we're now at a stage where there are these collector orientated remakes of a lot of these characters as well, like Exkaiser and things like that. And you will, and again, you know, talking to Evan, he's obviously got some of them, but you will get people that go after those. And very often when I'm talking about Brave online, I'll get people saying, oh, you should check out this version or that version or whatever it is, you know, and it's like some high-end remake. And they always look super cool. Like, don't get me wrong, they look amazing. But to me, there's a charm of these original DX toys from back in the day that cannot be matched. You know, there's just an inherent
retro
gimmicky charm. That's the only word I can think of. Like it is a real presence to them, you know?
Nice.
They stand in the middle of a couple of separate circles, don't they? Like things that shouldn't mix. Like on the one hand, they are like, for you as a collector coming across them now, they are like kind of exotics, like ooh, like kind of cool vintage Japanese toys, and it's like with everything still has that kind of magic to it, that level. But then at the same time, there are also exciting kids' toys that are filled with gimmicks and stuff that you've never seen.
Yes, you're right.
And I think that's what's really like pulls me in with Brave, is there's this kind of just magic to it where it's everything at once that I loved about being a kid, but like about being an adult as well, and collecting stuff, but also being able to enjoy a kid's toy that way. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
It makes complete sense, because it is a bit like if someone just gave you, a new catalog for a bunch of vintage Transformers from back in the day that you'd never seen before, and they just handed you this catalog and went, here you go, check that out. And there's 10 or 20 or 30 toys in there that you're just like, what? It is a little bit like that. And they don't necessarily look all like Transformers, and definitely some of them you'll see tonight and you'll be like, that's not really a Transformer at all. But they do have that same spirit to them, and that same vibe. And Liam's right, it's like there is that intrigue because they are a bit mystique, kind of unusual, kind of exotic sort of toys, because we didn't grow up with them, and we didn't grow up with the knowledge of them either. But also, there is that very tactile thrill. I mean, one that we're not looking at tonight because it's from a much later series is called Adventure, and it transforms into like a locomotive train. And I was showing it to our mate Kit when he stayed over with us recently, and we were looking at it, and he was just so enamored with this thing because of the number of gimmicks it has, because it's like flip out guns here, press a button, something spins round, and then like the front of the locomotive goes on his chest, like folds down, and then you open up a little door, like a little circular door in the front, press a button, and it's got like the G2 Generation 2 rotor force gimmick with like the spinning blades. It's got that just pops out of his chest, and
Amazing.
stuff like that. And it's just you kind of can't help but play with them and think it's fun. They're just really big, chunky, fun toys.
Yeah.
And they still have that cachet of it being like a Japanese toy from a vintage toy, that kind of vintage toy, super robot thing. And you're like, that there's always a certain magic to that sucks you in, isn't it? No matter what line it's from, like there's so much of that.
It's very, very true. So tonight we are looking at just the DX toys, the deluxe toys, as it were, and there are only actually like a few of them. And I know I said to you when we were talking about doing this episode that because the big gimmick of this line is combination, there are individual robots, and most of these tonight you can buy separately, but they all kind of combine into bigger robots, or typically they do anyway, not every single one.
Yeah.
And because of that, once you've combined them all up, we're really only talking about 4 big toys tonight, which is the mad thing. Like it's spread across, it's probably 8 or 9, but they all like merge together, as it were. And it becomes four robots in a line, so which is kind of weird.
That sounds cool as well, though. I'm very intrigued by that.
Yeah. Well, let's see how we get on with it. I'm going to kick us off with something that I think is a bit of an easy lead-in, because this toy was very far along in terms of its development process. Like this was being designed for Transformers, and then what you see here is not too dissimilar from what it potentially would have been if it had been released as a Transformer, okay? And Jason, you're going to be immediately excited with this one because it's a pair of trains, mate.
It's trains. Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Or a pair of spats. Shoes.
Yeah, it does look like shoes, doesn't it? Yeah. These are Shinkansen, Jason. Shinkansen.
So, right. I want these immediately.
Yeah.
I see what you're talking about. White plastic as well. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. So a number of these pictures, I should say, actually, before we kick off, you're right, that, these pictures are all ones I found online. Obviously, if you're listening at home and you're not a patron, then you're not going to have access to these pictures, I'm afraid. You'll have to go and look them up somewhere and find them for yourselves. If you are one of our patrons and you're on our Discord, we will be uploading them all for you there, so have no fear. But there's no like central wiki or anything for these toys. There is for the cartoon, but the toy line doesn't really have like a central wiki or anything. So in terms of finding pictures of the toys, it's Google, I'm afraid. That's the sort of best resource there is. This picture here, actually, and a number of these pictures, the ones marked with the little watermark there, are from our mate Sid, who did some work writing for Kapow Toys blog many years ago. And so a lot of those are his photos, but they're super cool. And he's got an incredible collection of these toys, like really, comprehensive. But you can see the white plastic right away, right?
Yeah, and they look like characters from Cars. You know,
they got little moustaches.
Yeah, so it suddenly once I saw it, it's like, oh, it looks like a face now. That's all I can see is that kind of
a little smirking face.
That word
anthropomorphic. Yes, yeah,
that's exactly the word.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you.
That one wasn't even Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. I mean, here you can see another picture, which is more the actual color of them. Which is, in the kind of bright, brilliant white or what have you. So many of these toys are white. It's ridiculous.
Wow, it's really white though. That's like a kind of crystal white, isn't it? Very different to what you get on a Transformer. Oh, they look lovely. They look really nice.
Really nice. So what you're looking at here is a pair of toys. They are not completely identical, but mainly so. You've got Blue Raker and Green Raker, and I'll leave it to you to figure out which is which. I don't know if you need me to tell you that.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Might have a stab at that.
Is by any chance Blue Raker the one with blue on it?
It is, yeah. You've cracked the code there.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. It's for kids.
Yeah. Now, you can see here a little side profile in the box, look. So you can kind of see this is the entire set. Now, they were sold separately in individual packages. And again, because it's combinations, you could get the individual packages or you could get a little box set, which is the one that I have, actually. I have this. Really nice toy.
Of course you do.
Yeah. I don't have all of these.
Did you have this out when we came round? Did you have it on the shelf?
I think I did. Yes, I did have it on the shelf. I think in combined mode.
I didn't realize you had this.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's a really cool one.
Jason, is this the first time? You've seen this toy?
Yes, it is.
So how can you not realize he'd had this?
Well, because he shot me.
You've literally only just found out that it exists. I didn't realise you had this, Sixo.
Yeah. I think I got him right between the eyes.
Yeah, and I was just walking around for the weekend, just blinded.
And then he looked a bit delirious.
It was a good shot.
Yeah, it was. It was little foam darts.
I was enjoying that.
Yeah.
Pervert.
And then little 7-0. Little 7-0 came out, didn't he, with the Robosen Megatron and was enjoying shooting you with that as well.
Yeah. So, you're encouraging. Exactly.
I know. Terrible father. But you can see that the back end of the bullet trains there is not quite as successful as the front half, it's fair to say. Like, it's sort of suspension of disbelief a little bit.
Yeah,
but that's fun. That sort of stuff when we were kids. Like, I love stuff like this. I said it in a previous episode about Silverbolt with the robot bits underneath. It's like, you think of it as like alien technology and stuff. Then same with this. You think of it as like extra crazy booster things. If I saw this as a kid, I'd be straight away like, Japan, awesome, cool, super wild robot thing.
Japan. But yeah, you can see there, look, there's another little picture. You can combine the two trains as well, so which is pretty cool. I think they're great, man. I mean, you got to consider that at this point, this is a full decade prior to Rail Racer in RID or Car Robots, right? Like a full decade out from that. And this would have been, well, as far as I know anyway, the first set of Shinkansen transforming robots that Takara did since, I guess, probably the Raiden, back when it was a Diaclone toy in like 1982 or 83 or whatever it was. So it sort of sits in between the two.
Would this have been before the Micromaster trains?
That's a good question, actually. Good call, actually. I'd forgotten about those. But yeah, it would have been around maybe a little bit after that.
Yeah, so, that's 1990 is...
Yeah.
Micromasters is that 89, 88.
Yeah, they were
90,
Operation Combination. So actually, it would have been around the same time as those, if anything, which is interesting.
Bringing trains back.
Yeah.
But what kind of scale is this then? This is deluxe? Is it the same as Transformers Deluxe?
Well, so I wouldn't ignore, because obviously Transformers didn't have scale, classes and everything at this point. Yeah. So Deluxe and Standard is really just to denote the complication of it. I agree. I don't really like the size classes, but that's me. This particular toy and these two individual robots are not very large, but the toys get much larger as we go.
Right. Yeah,
so if anything, this first year of Brave, the toys are a little bit smaller overall, I would say, apart from the last couple of toys that we're going to look at. And I've actually got one with me tonight, and I'll show you so you can see how big it is, because it's ridiculous. These guys in individual robot form are probably like a little bit bigger than G1 Optimus Prime, I want to say. Like, not huge by any means. So
bigger than I expected, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see their individual robot modes here. So you've got old Green Raker and Blue Raker.
I feel like I've seen that gun before, that dual cannon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It looks like Fort Max's gun.
It does look
It does
like
a little
Fort
bit,
Max's
yeah.
gun.
They do
Yeah.
have that kind of like, big gun that you'd attach to something look to them, I guess. So, but they're really interesting transformations as well. They're probably a little bit more involved than you might imagine. Like there's a lot of like spinning round on themselves and that kind of stuff. Like none of the Brave toys really transform in that very traditional way that like a Transformer might. Like none of them seem to take the obvious route to market. They all kind of have a little intrigue about stuff spinning around or flipping back on itself or whatever. So it's they're fun toys to handle even as a pair of individuals, I would say. I think there's a lot of enjoyment from these. They're not 100% the same. Like there are some differences to them, which is cool as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see they're them there in the sort of proper colors, if you like. And the head sculpts are a little bit different as well. They've got kind of like themed head sculpts, I want to say. Like they've got these are not meant to be like police captain head sculpts or anything like that, but there is a little bit of that going on in this line later on. Like you get kind of like hats and things like this for some of them that are kind of like styled after particular professions, that kind of thing.
They're quite humanoid faces, aren't they, as well? Which when we're thinking about when this is coming out, it's a bit different. It does give me a bit of Cup vibes, that Green Raker one.
I can see that.
Well.
But you can imagine these guys as Transformers, right? Like slap an Autobot logo on them.
Yeah.
You could see that as a G1 Transformer, I think. Like
I would love that as a G1 Transformer.
Definitely.
So cool.
Yeah, they're really cool toys.
Are these your photos?
No, these are not my pictures. No, I found these online.
If you've taken a quick photo here and there, because it's the angle of the green one. It just tickles it. It looks like a photo that
Dutch
we
angle.
do.
Yeah, a little bit of a Dutch angle. So those are the individuals, and then they combine together. Now, the interesting thing about the combination is that it's a little bit of your animated Safeguard type thing, where it's like the two of them basically do like they split together down the middle.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, which is super cool to see. And then this is the combined mode, which is called Ultra Raker.
I know this guy.
There you go.
Love this. I love the Star Saber head sculpt on it.
Yeah, it's super cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
brilliant.
Wow.
This is brilliant.
God, that's stunning. So cool. I'm getting Star Saber.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit, and I love GoBots, right? But I am getting the big GoBot kind of, and it's purely color because of my favorite one, which is the Robo Machine Winch guy, which I absolutely love. That primary color that goes into toys like this, because like that gun, it's just all red, and it's got panel lining it. It's got panels on it and stuff like that, but just that pure red. And I just really love that. This is why I said earlier as well that it reminded me of the stuff that I'd seen. And maybe this isn't the best example, but parts of it reminds me of Power Rangers, because it has those big primary color parts to it, which is very much part of that.
Voltron for me, the black, the
yellow. Yeah, I can see that.
Definitely
Definitely a bit of Voltron going on.
Look at that head sculpt.
What is really cool about this color layout as well is it really evokes the rescue force.
That's true.
It's kind of funny that when Hasbro would bring those guys at the Kaiser bots over and convert them into rescue force, they'd end up with colors just like this.
Yeah, it's so true.
And these were sort of some of the toys they were probably looking at that sort of time as well.
Well, they were sent Hasbro some of these samples. There's some evidence to say that yes, Hasbro were sent some of these. They never released any of them, and actually, I think bar one tiny example, I think it's a trailer or something, but other than that, none of them has ever been released as Transformers in any capacity by Takara or Hasbro, other than like the odd bit, like an accessory or something that's like been reused or whatever. But
just haven't been brave enough, have they?
Yeah, maybe it's that. Well, it's a licensing thing, you see, because the main issue is that so the people that made the show, Sunrise is the name of the animation studio in Japan.
Very famous.
It was like a co-production. Yeah, of course, they've done lots of stuff. But there was a co-production between Sunrise and Takara, but Sunrise were purchased by Bandai in around 93, 94. And of course, Bandai are main competitor, and they have retained the rights to a lot of the character likenesses and things like this, which it proved, I think it was a bit of a sticky wicket at one point during the production of the later series of the show and stuff like that. But it's why you often don't get a lot of Takara produced versions of these toys now, like they're done by other companies and things like that. But there are a couple now coming up in T-Spark, weirdly, so obviously something's changed somewhere along the line, because it looks like maybe things are a little bit smoother now, but I can't pretend to know everything about that. But yeah, it's interesting nonetheless.
Bandai like money.
Yeah, well, this is it. I'm sure that
like
is
free money.
I'm sure
They
that's
don't have to do anything.
I'm sure that's the answer. But yeah, this guy is pretty cool. So you can see him here, his animation model from the show.
Oh, see, that's even nicer. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
That just has a really cool look where you like, oh, that would fit in so well as a Transformer.
It really would, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
So,
it would.
And it is quite sort of Japanese looking, but I think it would work. I mean, the toy itself is so fun as well. I think you could just slap a few Autobot logos on it and it'd be good to go.
Yeah. Like I could see that design in the Victory cartoon.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm not sure about the toy. I don't think I could see the toy in the toy line as much, but the style of the design for the cartoon is bang on.
I think that the head sculpt's nearly there. Do you know what I really love is the fact that in the detail on the toy, they've kept that green on the left, even down to putting stickers on the antenna. The
antenna are cool, aren't they?
Yeah, and then the blue on the right when you're looking at the figure and stuff like that. But then they've kept the eyes equal, and the yellow just brings it together. Such a lovely sun yellow right in the center of that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a big emphasis on chest designs on these as well. Right. Like all of them have good chests, in terms of like something sort of eye-catching going on in the chest region, which is cool. So
yellow on black as well is always pops out, particularly from this era. It's quite prevalent on toys of this era.
It's very true.
It really stands out.
So this one was very far along, as far as I understand, towards being a Transformer. Like it could well have been quite close looking to this. I think my understanding is that potentially they changed like the chest plate thing and maybe the head for the combined mode. But otherwise, it was sort of fairly far along, which is quite interesting. But I really love this toy; it's great fun.
Yeah, absolutely, looks like a Transformer. The bots, individual bots in particular. When you look at the legs, if you just show me a picture of those, I would have gone, "What Transformer is that from?"
Yeah,
the DNA is all there. All of it.
Exactly.
Chunked to them.
I think you'll see a little bit of that with the next lot as well. So, going to drop in another 3 toys. Now, this is the God Max team. They're individually known as Dash Max, Drill Max, and Sky Max. So that's literally their names. But there's the 3 of them here. You know these? Yeah.
Yes. I also know what 2 of them are from.
Ah, okay. What are you going to say?
Sort of. Yeah, I'll let you go. I don't make a fool of myself in front of the public.
Sure. Well, so really, really nice set. I have a sad tale to say, which is that I owned these toys and then I sold them. And I bitterly regret it now, honestly. Like, I would love to own these again because it's
look at his boob guns.
Set.
How could you get rid of the boob guns?
Yeah, I know. Well, I was going through a little stage.
Twisters.
I was going through a little stage where I was like, needed space, and I was like, maybe I don't need Brave toys in my life. Do you know what I mean? And so I thought I'd sell them. I sold this one and I sold another one, and then I was like, oh my God, I should not have done that at all. So, but yeah, these 3 guys are really cool. So these do combine into one robot, of course. Here you've got them in their individual, vehicle modes, so you can see why they're called what they are. I mean, again, I'll let you figure out which one is Dash Max, Drill Max, and Sky Max. I think it sort of speaks for itself.
These should have been Transformers. These are so close, like old Tits McGee over here with his nipple guns. I mean, Dash Max. That just looks like a Transformer, and like even with the nose cones on the drill bits on the shoulder, they're very of that era Takara as well. Like,
that's cool.
They look like the Breast Force's brother and sisters, don't they?
They really do.
Like siblings.
Yeah.
Bit Thunderbirds as well, though, Liam, going on here. The dual wheels at the back, and that's cool.
I thought that. Oof. Yeah. Old Dash Max has definitely got a bit of Thunderbirds to him. There's absolutely something.
God, they're lovely. That's like a kind of... it's got Sunstreaker vibes going on for me as well. Oof,
this has the whole Diatlas era of toy. Like, DNA stamped over it. And then you get to the yellow car, which looks so far removed from these guys, but also perfectly set with them because it's
90s
so
future.
Different.
Yeah,
I think that's why it works because they're 3 different toys, whereas the other 2 look like they come from the same place, and the yellow one doesn't, and it works. It works because that looks more like a GoBot, like in
it does
design
actually.
style.
Yeah,
it does. It really does.
The yellow one is actually my favorite. The Dash Max. He's my favorite of these 3. It does look like a Transformer as well. I mean, our mate
Hot Shot's dad.
Yeah, Hot Shot's dad. He's a bit like a G1 Hot Shot actually.
Yeah.
I mean, our mate Fancy Dan has this set, and I know that he's sticking them up with little Repro Autobot logos.
Oh wow!
And it looks so good, honestly. Like it just works, which is maybe sacrilegious to some, but it does work.
Drill Tank guy is absolutely stunning. He just looks like someone who would hang around with Blitzwing. He's got that. The style is that if I'd have seen that like 15, 20 years ago with a Decepticon logo stuck on it, I would 100% have just gone, Transformer. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm thinking Technobots as well,
Yeah,
because of that.
Yeah, because the drill,
yeah. Drill Tank Jet. Yeah, I can see that.
Jet guy's very Hellbat, isn't he? Like his face, you look at his face and it's like, this is like Hellbat when he got
went through his actually.
Like, rock phase or something.
Yeah. So this, as I say, they do combine these three as well. Now, the one thing I want to say about this is that the combination process is so unique, I think, because they just sort of like stack up. But the head is in the plane guy. The drill guy becomes the legs, and then the car guy is kind of like everything in between, sort of makes up like the thighs and that kind of stuff. Now, I'll drop a picture here of the combine mode. This, feeling a little bit sad about this. This is my picture, this one. This was my copy. Here you go. That's the combined form.
And you sold this.
I know.
That looks like it's an amazing condition.
I know. It's such a great toy. Honestly, I have to have it again. I absolutely have to have it again.
Wow.
What made you sell it?
A moment of complete stupidity, I would say.
It happens. Sixo.
We've all been there, though, hasn't it? Where you've sold something that you regret straight away. It's
this is of all the things I've sold that I've ended up regretting. This is my number one by some country mile. Like this is by far and away the one where I'm like, why? Like even the other Brave stuff that I sold one other Brave set, which was from Firebird, which is the subsequent line, to our mate Jim, and I do kind of regret that as well, but not as much. Like that, I'm fine with that. This one, I'm like, oh man, should not have done it. Should not have done it.
This one's amazing. This one's absolutely amazing.
That's a lovely combined mode.
Yeah,
like how they've put that. I love how the drill bits are going up his hips on either side there. How does the car work then? Does the car kind of the front end of it flip in half and slots into
it's
the
a weird one. It's
plane?
Basically, I think I've got a picture from the back here actually, which
it's wearing the jet.
Yeah, it is kind of like wearing the jet. Yeah.
The fact you've taken this image in front of Brave Maximus as well. It's what I was saying earlier about how the guns and the colours.
He had to get another flex in on top of a flex, didn't he? Look at him.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the front flex anymore.
Here.
I don't have the front flex anymore. So what are you on about? But it gives you an idea of the height, at least. You can see how big it is.
It's a good point, of course. Yeah.
It's not massive, this one, actually. Even in combined mode, it's a fairly, like, compared to Star Saber, it's probably a little bit smaller even. Do you know what I mean? It's not huge by any stretch. So, but it is super cool. Yeah, from memory, the car guy actually is facing backwards, I think, at that point. Is he? I can't
you can see his wheels. You can see his wheels. So
it kind of looks like the front part would flip over and then it becomes this kind of like, slots together.
Yeah, it's kind of like the chest. And then the plane guy sort of unfolds and becomes the shoulders and the arms. And then like the top, basically, which slots on to then form the chest. And the head pops out of the plane guy. And then the drill guy is basically splits in half down the middle and becomes the legs. And then clumps onto the bottom of the car guy.
Genuinely amazing.
It really is.
This is everything you would have wanted from something like this. Like when you were a kid and you used to see like the off-brand Japanese toys, like they weren't Transformers, but you didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
That import shops had got or stuff like that. And you were like, it's not a Transformer, but what is it? And why is it cool? This is exactly that, man.
Yeah, completely agree.
That box.
Yeah.
What's also cool is that their individual weapons all combine as well. So it's got like this little sword axe thing as well.
That's
so
cool.
All of the parts are used.
And more successfully than most modern ones as well. Works. 10 out of 10.
Ah, nice. You can see that some of the pictures here are not stickered and others are. So you can see that like he's got some big sort of funky G1 style shin stickers going on and things as well. My copy, as you may notice, was unstickered and I had the stickers to apply. So...
Oh, this is just getting worse. It's more traumatic.
I love the car guy and it like old machine gun tits has got those. But car guy is like, look at my little shiny...
Yeah, he's got some chrome on him.
And then it's just a shiny chrome wheel, and he's got it in the car mode as well, but it's behind the windscreen. So it's kind of like, look, it's like the car engine, but not. And it's like, okay, cool. Could have given him a rocket launcher or
he's a weird one.
Sort of gun.
Have a look at the box for this one, because this is really stunning. Honestly, just look at that.
Oh
yeah.
Oh my goodness! Imagine that in the shop. Oh, I would have bought this.
Yeah.
God, do you know how we triple takeover in Japan, right? This is the reason to go, right?
Oh,
because find these and.
Well, this is the thing. These toys are hard to find. That's the thing. They don't pop up that often. When they do, people want them, and they can be very expensive as well. Or they're yellowed or knackered, and they're desirable things, and they're hard to come across now.
I just love, like, you can see the influences of stuff as well. Like, you look at the car, and it doesn't look like a Datsun until you start to clock that's where the influences have all come from.
Totally.
And then if you look in the picture in the box, it's got those black stickers on the front, and you're like, those are off the Autobot cars as well, because they're sort of Datsun.
It's so true.
Details.
It's true.
And then you look at the car and you see it, don't you? It's like a space Datsun.
Datsun, yeah.
So when we were chatting about that earlier, the front of it is totally a Datsun, isn't it?
Yeah.
That bonnet section and all that.
I've never noticed that. That's so funny. But you're right.
You can see the indentations on the front from where the stickers go. And you're like, those are exactly off the Datsuns. That's what that is.
It's so true. It's so funny that they must have started with the real world car and just been like, let's make it longer and put another set of wheels on there. And it's yellow and,
more wheels. It's brilliant.
That's where so much of the best stuff of this era comes from, those where they take something real and space it up like this.
Yeah,
and this is, man, I like, look at the wheels. Like, they are so car wheels as well, aren't they? Like you look at it going, it's like a moon car, but then there's that
moon car.
Yeah, this is just, oh God, I wish I had this. There's only one thing I would say is missing, and that is little people. That's all it sort of needs.
Yeah, I could see that.
To take it to a 11-9 out of
sort of Diaclone theme.
Yeah,
it's cool. Here's God Max from the show. Anyway, his animation model.
Oof, handsome.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Oh, he's got a bird.
The toy, though.
He's got a bird in his chest.
Yeah. You maybe didn't clock that, but that's on the toy as well. If you look, I should have mentioned that earlier. But
okay,
a little bird's head does pop out of his of the chest there.
That's what I was going to say about the car guy. It's like, one guy's got guns in his chest. This guy's got an eagle head. Yeah. He's just got a shiny fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at my shiny fan. It's shiny.
Everyone needs a fan. Number one
His
fan.
bird head just moans all the day. Squawks.
Squawks away. There is a definite animal theme on a lot of these, and that's what I was saying about man in cat earlier. Like, you'll see that coming up, but there's a lot of them have, like, again, it's from a later line, but there's one called Power Dagwon, which is like a big construction crane guy. Absolutely huge thing. It's really fun, clicky, big, massive construction crane. But when it transforms, it's rather inexplicably just got like this huge bird logo on its head, on its chest. And it's like, why? Do you know what I mean?
Tattoo. Love it. Amazing.
Just for no reason, Thematically doesn't fit at all, but who cares? So,
you can see, like, already just the time and, like, the imagination that Takara's designers were channeling with these, and like where it was coming from, and like, if you know a lot about that time in anime and toys like we do and stuff, and like just Transformers and anything, you can just see like a whole culture and influence, just swirling, can't you? You can totally see where this all comes from.
And I think that's such a salient point, because it's worth again reiterating how popular this was at the time. And like, this is probably looked at by a lot of Western Transformers fans as like some little known slight offshoot, pet project that Takara were doing. And it wasn't at all. Like, this was way outselling what Transformers had been doing at that point. And in terms of cultural significance, it's probably more worthwhile in some ways. Do you know what I mean? Like, it probably had a bigger impact on other areas of sort of the whole super robot thing than Transformers did, arguably. So it was a big deal at the time, like a really, really big deal. And we just didn't hear about it.
No, and from the stuff I sort of know about the anime as well, like, this is 1990, so this would be when big giant robot anime was making a comeback as well.
Yeah, very much
kind of like lulled for a bit. This is kind of like where super robot stuff like this was coming back, and Brave was at the front of that sort of wave of stuff.
Yeah, it really hit like lightning in a bottle almost. It was just like, at the sort of perfect time, just coming off the tail end of Transformers, but kind of like before a lot of the other stuff came in. So You might even say it was a pretty brave call on their part.
Oh
my goodness. Everyone's really drunk out there.
My guy.
Just following the game.
It had been a minute since Liam had done one, so I thought it needed to come back. Right, we're going to move on again. Now, this next one is an interesting one for several reasons. One, it doesn't combine. It's just a straightforward toy. Like, it doesn't combine with anything. Number 2, it's a triple changer, which is cool.
Ooh.
Number 3, it's a villain, which is really unusual in this toy line because unlike Transformers, there aren't many villain toys, which is a bit of a Japanese thing. Like Transformers is unusual in that regard, but a lot of Japanese toy lines focus on the heroes because they sell better, according to Japanese toy makers. So yeah, this is a bit of an unusual one, and it's also unusual because this is the one toy of this first line that I've never owned, and I really want. Really want this one.
Is it just really hard to find? Is that why?
Yes. It is out there. Like, you can get it very often quite knackered, I would say.
Right.
It's a very hard to come by in nice condition toy. So it's not, again, all of these can be found, but if you're willing to get them knackered is the thing. Finding them nice is the difficult one. So this is Dino Geist.
He does look evil. This guy.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, you can tell he's a bad guy, right?
You can. Yeah. He's not a friend. Well, look at that face. Look at that head sculpt.
Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent. I love it.
It's really cool, isn't it? I'm so intrigued about this thing. Honestly, when you see the alt modes, even more so. It's just brilliant.
Can I guess what he's going to be?
Come on, tell me.
He must be. He's got some kind of dinosaur vibe going on here.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Dino Geist as a name maybe gave it away a little bit. I don't know.
So, but the big claws on his knees that I'm seeing there as well.
I mean, the wings might be a little bit of a tell. I don't know.
Oh,
it's a triple.
Come on, Jason.
Oh, it's a triple take. Oh, it's triple. Okay, so we go in like a pterodon, and then some kind of, I don't know what the other word.
We'll come
crocodile.
to it. You can see evil crocodile. You'll see. But yeah, the robot mode I think is superb with the horns and everything as well. It's just so nice.
I'm going to ask the question now. So, this toy, it looks like somebody else.
Oof.
Is it this one that we think is inspired by Battlestar Super Megatron?
No, it's not this one.
It's not this one.
No, that actually is Gun Kid. Which is the one that I shot Jason with.
That is the one you shot. That's all I
remember.
That's
the one I shot Jason with.
This is Gun Kid. Bang. Gone.
Yeah.
Blind for the weekend.
Yeah. That's never been confirmed, but that is the kind of, the running theory, if you like, amongst a lot of collectors. But it's hard to say. We had
a whole conversation about that one as well, then.
Yeah. It's hard to say.
Yeah. This guy, there's like the shoulders, the wings, just... Even his head, it's like a very Megatron-y head.
It really is.
It's got samurai vibes as well, doesn't it? All over it. It's like a samurai helmet and with horns.
Yeah, a little bit. It gives me, and I think particularly when you see the alt modes, it gives me sort of like Car Robots Megatron vibes in a weird way. It's the color scheme and everything a little bit as well. The kind of like, I don't know, the sort of Emperor look to it. It's there's something about it anyway. So
this bottom picture, it reminds me, for some reason as soon as I clicked on it, I was like, oh, he's Lobo.
Right.
You can see it, can't you? Like if you look at Lobo from DC.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
He's got that. Suddenly in this bottom picture, he's gone from Megatron to looking like a biker.
Okay, yeah, I sort of see what you're saying. I don't know if I'd have got there on my own, but I'm willing to be led there, certainly.
He needed a voice chip that just went, young man.
Right. Sure. I don't know if Takara considered that or not, but maybe they did.
I bet they did.
Right, so this is alternate mode number 1, and here's where he lives up to his name.
Was he like a Godzilla?
Yeah, kind of like a dinosaur dragon.
Look at his little hands.
This is way better than the Grimlock repainted as Godzilla nonsense that Takara peddling.
It is actually.
This.
Wow.
Is,
look at his punk
Snapdragon,
haircut.
isn't it?
It's kind of Snapdragon. Yeah, kind of kaiju monster kind of thing.
But also with the jet nose sticking.
The jet nose
is
very Snapdragon. Yeah, out the ass. It is really Snapdragon. Actually, you're right.
His little punk gold haircut is amazing. That's just the best.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? Little wings on his head. Super cool. I got to tell you this is really funny. My son has been getting into Godzilla, weirdly. Like, he's got a new little friend at school, and who's obviously got a couple of the toys. And so suddenly he's like wanting some of the Godzilla toys. Not seen any of the films or anything like that. But he was quite surprised that I knew what Godzilla was and all of this. So we were chatting. And I said, yeah, Godzilla's quite a big deal, actually. He's like, really? I was like, yeah, it's quite a popular thing. And I mentioned that, there are films going back like the better part of almost 100 years and this kind of, and he was like blowing his mind. But he was so good. He came over and he said, Daddy, my friend says that Godzilla is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I was like, he's not though, is he, darling? You know what he is. Come on. And he said, yeah. I told him. He said, I told him he's a kaiju. And I was like, good man, there he is. That's my boy.
Yeah, that's my boy. Exactly.
I've always liked that kid.
We've talked about kaiju many times before. Yes. So I'm talking about Deathsaurus and things like that. So
brilliant.
So you got it right. Exactly. Yeah. So let's have a look at this lad's other mode. So Jason, do you want to take a guess on what this is going to be?
Well, it's going to be a pterodon. So flying.
I mean, Jason, come on.
Oh,
it's a jet.
All right, then.
Where did pterodon come from?
I don't know where pterodon came from.
So I was thinking that what is the cockpit was going to become a head of a beast.
A jet cockpit. Yeah, it was going to become a jet cockpit.
This is hard.
Funny, I know.
Retro. Okay, then, yeah. It's very G2. I like it.
But Liam, I think you're spot on. I'd never thought of this before, but it is Snapdragon again, isn't it?
Yeah.
True.
They must have looked at that toy because there's so much of it here.
So true. So I think this is so cool. Like, I just think the color scheme, the design, the chrome is really lush. I just think it works.
Yeah, absolutely. All modes. Gorgeous. Man, why can't they just reissue these toys? I would really love to.
Because they don't have the license.
How cool it is, man.
They would make a lot of people very happy, I think, if they did do that.
Imagine.
Like, this toy is especially hard to find in good nick.
Yeah, accidentally, through no attempt or anything like that, they've inadvertently made Broadside from Titan's Returns alt mode slightly better by me looking at it again. This guy does it well with the big, ginormous legs sticking on the back there. Maybe I can give Broadside a little bit more credit.
Yeah, fair. By comparison. So so he's the big bad guy of the line, basically. And here you've got his animation model.
Wow.
This is very Gundam.
Very much so.
That's cool.
You can see the inspiration though, can't you? You can see how the toys were produced sort of in tandem with the
definitely
the
shows, doesn't it? Yeah, it's nice. I really like that. It's that kind of method of like the teams working together. It's what we were chatting to the Transformers 1 team about that, weren't we? And how they did that as well. But it really shows.
It's just funny to see at this time because obviously I think, a lot of Takara or Japanese animation for Transformers, they were working quite closely off the toys by this point. So like Victory, for example, I would say the show designs are very similar to the toys for the most part. Yeah. But this probably even more so, just because they really were being done in tandem. You can kind of see
Japanese
that.
Cartoons were always like that, though, weren't they? You always felt the toys were closer to the thing. And I imagine if Hasbro hadn't made Transformers and Takara had, say, made a cartoon of Diaclone, the animation models wouldn't have looked like G1 at all. They would have looked like the toys, wouldn't they? They would have been way closer.
Very much so. Should we move on and do the last one?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, last one.
Now, I say the last one. Technically, this is two toys, but they do combine.
Okay.
I say technically, it is two toys, but they do combine. We're going to start with the smallest part of it. So we're going to start with actually the kind of title character of the line, which is Exkaiser. And then kind of forms up to King Exkaiser.
Are these two separate purchases then? Were they? Are they two?
You can make them as two separate purchases, or you can get a box set as well of the two. I have them as two separate ones. So, cool. So we'll start with Exkaiser in his smallest form. Now, this is not the full mode, you got to think of this as like a God Jinrai kind of thing, or Jim Ray, if you will, Jason, where it has a smaller robot, a larger robot, and then a combined robot.
Lion on his face, on his chest. Sorry.
Yeah, this is man and cat. Cat.
There's a lot going on here, and I'm loving it all.
Love this. Yeah.
Now, the one thing I do want to say, just right off the bat, before we get into the detail, is that the most important thing is that this is a kind of, I think this is a reissue, because you see the windshield on the car has got red and blue bits on it.
Yeah.
In this picture. That's not how the actual car looks, the original release. So here's a picture of the original release, which has got a fully blue windshield, but I think, could be wrong on this, but I think they reissued it, and for some reason they did part of the windshield in red, which is a really strange choice.
With PMOP.
It is a bit like PMOP, isn't it?
Prime there on the back.
Yeah, it basically is that. So you get this kind of like, I don't know what type of car it is, but it looks like a real car, like quite a futuristic car.
There are two things that this looks exactly like. One, the blue car from Pole Position, the cool futuristic car.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Two, the mystery car on the Transformers the movie poster.
Does a little bit, doesn't it?
Does actually.
Yeah.
You know, the one that everyone always goes, it's Blur. And you're like, it's not Blur, it's some random made-up car.
Or people think it's Metroplex's mate, yeah.
Well, it's giving me... I'm getting a mix of Hot Rod and RC on that for me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Man, please tell me this one isn't hard to get.
This is more accessible.
Okay.
I would say like, you can find this. It's very commonly yellowed. Yeah, is the only thing. But there have been reissues.
Accessible is a Liam level. I like it.
You could do this. You could achieve this.
You could do it, Liam.
It's definitely doable. You could definitely do this. So there it is. Again, this is the reissue pic because it's got the red windshield. But there it is with the kind of like trailer and everything off the back. So you know what's going to happen here, of course, is that it's a smaller robot mode for the car, which is super cool, and then it combines with the trailer and everything as well, which we'll see in just a minute. But really cool combination and everything as well.
Man, this is amazing.
Just so to clarify, is the trailer, the trailer's a separate toy in a box and the car's a separate?
This is all one toy. This is all one
Exkaiser.
Toy. Okay. Yeah, right. We'll see the separate toy. I'll tell you, here's the separate toy, and then we'll do the combination of those two.
Okay, cool.
But this is, imagine it is basically like PMOP in that if you've got PMOP, and then God Bomber is the separate toy.
Yeah,
the separate toy that we're going to see in this case is the kind of God Bomber equivalent, if you will, that kind of comes in afterwards, but better than God Bomber, I would say. But yeah, it's really, really something. So basically, you stand the trailer up, and then it's hard to explain, but the trailer is almost like a shell that opens up. There are various panels that flip forward, and then the robot mode, the smaller robot mode, inserts inside the trailer shell. So I've got a picture here that you can see what I mean, how it combines before we see the full combined mode.
Folds up around him.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like armor. It's like proper armor.
Yeah. That's superb.
It's like he stepped into it.
Yes, like, literally like that.
Fold around.
It's super cool. The smaller robot doesn't really transform so much as he does just like slot inside the trailer, inside the base, if you will.
That makes it even better because this satisfies that thing you've always wanted from a toy as a kid when you would watch it in a cartoon.
Exactly.
You would step into like a robot suit, like a mech suit, and it would form around him.
Totally.
You're like, man, I would love to do that. Standing in your own shoe boxes and hoping something's going to kick off. But look at this. Oh, man.
It's super cool. Liam's in, man. Liam's in.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm all in on this.
I can see the enablement already. But yeah, this is, if anything, this becomes a bit thematic in Brave because there are a number of toys later on that also do this with like small robots that then fold up or like slot in the chest and that kind of stuff. But anyway, here's the finished thing. So once it's all, like you've folded all the panels back and everything, this is what it looks like. This is Exkaiser or King Exkaiser.
There he is. I recognize this robot mode. This one I always think of as like a Power Rangers thing because it looks like the Tigerzord.
It really does.
It does.
Very similar.
Yeah. Look at that giant lion-y king head on it. Oh.
Well, this is it. When I talked about man in cat, this is exactly what I was talking about. Not an actual
but
cat.
It's a man in cat and a man in cat. He's got cat on both modes, doesn't he? So he's got a smaller robot on this.
He's
big
a man
one.
in a cat
He takes a nap in there. He has a cat nap.
Yeah, he's a little cat nap. He's just asleep.
Wow.
This toy is so cool, honestly. And it's big as well. So, like, this is a properly big, massive, chunky toy. Again, this is the one I've got with me. that it's combined at the moment. So I'll show you when we're going through all of this at the end. I'll show you the combined mode, and I'll just hold it up and show you how big it is. But it's a big toy.
Man, that transformation, man, the way he sits in that like suit. This is what you wanted from Pretenders, isn't it? Like
it really is.
The pieces to go snap on, like
totally.
Just fold up around it. Like
it's got like an Iron Man vibe. You know, the suit goes around him and stuff like that. It's just great. This is like what we talked about right at the beginning when you're a kid, and that whole fun factor, and all of these ones that you've shown us, Sixo, this one in particular, a huge amount of fun with this, because you get that's a lot of toy you're getting for your money there, isn't it? With that,
it really is. It's cool. Huge amount. So this is like the poster boy of the line. This is the line's called Exkaiser, and this is Exkaiser. So this is the main guy, which is super cool.
All of it, like
the car's really lovely, isn't it?
He's got a little flick knife and everything, like, and he's just go.
He does.
Samurai pizza cat, almost.
He's samurai pizza cats, isn't it? Oh my god!
The car is drawing my attention back again and again because it's so of that time, anime. You know, like all of those things, like Bubble and Crisis. These kind of little futuristic looking cars.
What's even cooler then, and I'll show you. So I'll show you the second robot, which is called Dragon Kaiser. Doesn't turn into a dragon, by the way, but he's kind of got a bit of a dragon theme going on. What I will do is I'll show you his alternate mode first, because you'll see immediately, Liam, where the appeal is in this as a set. So it turns into this big honking jet thing, right?
Again, that's Thunderbird's vibe again for me, of the Thunderbird, whichever one is.
But what do you think is the selling point of this, considering what Exkaiser transforms into with the big trailer?
Oh, the jet can land on the trailer.
The jet can land. Yeah, it sits on
so
top
it
of the
can
trailer.
tow like Jetfire and Overload.
Kind of, yeah. It's not perfect. Like, don't get me wrong, but it will sit on top of there, and it kind of like can be towed along, kind of thing.
I was looking at the trailer with the way the wings are folded, and I couldn't shake the feeling that it looks like something that should be carrying almost like a landing pad,
aircraft
carrier, kind of like a deck. Yeah. That's obviously why.
The only thing with it, I initially wanted to have them displayed like this. Like, my thought was, because I've got some space on top of my cabinets, between the ceiling and that. And I thought, I'll have it displayed like this, so that Exkaiser's in his vehicle mode with Dragon Kaiser on top. And then the whole thing is so honking massive that there's no room for it. Like, it's too tall to fit in, which is mad. So now I'll show you Dragon Kaiser's robot mode. Now, the only thing with this is that when you see the robot mode, you'll realize that the jet is basically the robot lying down. Like, it's very obvious.
Still cool.
Still cool. Look at it. This is it looks like a KO Soundwave.
It does.
Yes, it does
like,
a little bit.
From somewhere. It's like a luchador Soundwave with that chest.
It's like that the one that can take actual cassette tapes, full-size cassette tapes. It's like that Soundwave, isn't it?
Yeah. This is such a
cool.
Like, people talk about chonk and like chunky fun. This is it, man. Like, this is one of the biggest, chunkiest toys. But I mean, articulated like a brick. The only thing that moves is the elbows. That is
right. I was going to ask
a little bit of the elbows. Other than legs, no movement. Head, no movement. It's just completely static.
Solid boy.
My God, the presence though.
It does look like the Soundwave tape deck, doesn't it, Jason? You are right.
That's
what it looks like.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
There's a picture of the two of them together, so you can see that Dragon Kaiser is even bigger. This is a hefty pair of toys. Yeah, big lad.
Wait, hang on. What's this? What's
toys?
What's this crazy little accessory on the right?
Vest.
He's
got a vest.
His headrest.
Got a little vest. Little flame vest. Yeah, well, that's for the combination, you see, because then you combine the two of these to form a super robot, which is really cool.
This is unbelievable.
Which we're going to see now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You ready? For this? Yes. Let me just make sure I've got the best picture. I was
not prepared to be enabled tonight, I'll be honest, but
here we go. This is the two of them together combined.
Oh, wow. Look at the face.
That's great as well.
Yeah, face is
on the chest.
Different, and it's a different head completely. So it's really hard to explain, but on Dragon Kaiser, he's got this kind of like, so the nose cone flips around to the back, is on the back of Dragon Kaiser, and then his head is actually inside the combined mode head. But then the combined mode head folds over like a helmet like that and sort of sits inside the nose cone. If you like. So it sort of like comes over on a hinge and goes over the top, which is super cool. It's a mad combination. Dragon Kaiser sort of splits into parts, and then it's not the most successful combination ever. Like, don't get me wrong, when you see it in reality, you see that there are some flaws to it. Like, if you look really close, you can actually see Exkaiser's arms inside.
Yeah,
sort of just in the inside there. Do you know what I mean? They are quite visible. And it's sort of
so?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's
not the point, is it?
I know.
This is a robot inside a robot inside a robot with a cat face.
A royal cat face.
Exactly.
That's just beautiful. It looks like my cat. It's amazing. I love it. It's absolutely amazing.
It's the chrome that really makes it work, honestly. It's the chrome sort of ties it all together so nicely.
It's like some kind of Egyptian, kind of Cleopatra-style motif going on now as well, with the cat deity going. It's just superb. Superb.
That's what I was thinking of the face, Jason, as well. It's like, it reminds me of like some sort of statue you would have had in the 80s of like a cat deity.
Yeah.
You are exactly that.
Yeah, it's so true.
There's a place in Japan called Kaching, which is a place that celebrates the cat, and they've got cat statues all over it. It's wonderful. It's the best place to visit ever.
So it's the exact same noise like eBay makes whenever I open my wallet.
Exactly. Ka-ching. Exactly.
Ka-ching, yeah. Here's the picture of this guy's animation model. This is the combined form just there in the animation.
Yeah.
Super cool. Just super cool.
Wowzer.
Cool. This
such great
so
toys.
Star Saber channeling, isn't it?
Very much so. Very much so.
Really see it.
So do you want to see how big it is?
Yeah.
Oh, gone. Oh, have you got it?
Oh, I've got it, baby. I've got it right by me here. So for scale, this is going to be hard to do, but for scale, here's Missing Link Convoy. So G1 Optimus Prime. Okay. That's how big he is.
Good choice.
Yeah. I thought that might be a sort of universal scale choice. Here we go.
Better than red lines and all that madness.
I'm going to hold it up.
Whipping them out.
Oh, my goodness. What? Jeez.
There he is.
So Holy moly.
There's G1 Optimus.
Wait, where is he? You've just picked up your son.
Right? Like,
where's this robot?
Right, hang on. Are we going to, I think for the sake of the patrons, I'm going to do a screenshot of this, okay, of us all. Because that is just next level awesome.
Yeah, that's huge.
Got it. Right, I've got it.
It's absolutely gigantic. So my copy doesn't have the stickers on, I should say, like it's missing all the stickers, so it does look a little bit plain in comparison to some of the pictures you've seen there. And you can see all like his arms and everything on the inside, the Exkaiser arms. But the only thing with the combined mode, really, let me put it down. Hang on.
It's fine. Stuff like that, like where the arms would have to go somewhere in the animation or anything. So
yeah, exactly.
It's
kind of like once you get it combined, it's a bit of a statue. Do you know what I mean? But it's a very attractive looking statue is the thing. The only thing with the combined mode is that it's so big that you can't get it on the shelf. Like I cannot fit it on any of my shelves. Like, you'd have no room left in the cabinet, you know? So I have them displayed normally as the two separate robots just because that's the only way I can really fit them in.
That's amazing.
Got to make brave choices, man.
There we go. Had to get it in there. Yeah. So that's it. That's the line. That's literally it.
Wait, what size would you say that is then? Like what it compared to a like a
is it bigger than
Metroplex?
Metroplex? That looks like
way bigger than Metroplex.
Yeah.
In terms of Titan scale, like
we're talking like Brave,
Scorponok, maybe.
You reckon sort of Titan Scorponok?
Titan.
Or G1.
No, smaller than a Titan. Definitely smaller than a Titan. But G1 Scorponok maybe sort of size.
Okay.
I would say.
So Tripticon Scorponok. Yeah, okay, got you.
Yeah, ish. Roughly That's G1 cool. Scorponok size. Yeah, actually it must
Star
be...
Convoy, sort of.
Yeah, bigger than Star Convoy, definitely, I think. It must be G1 Scorponok size because I had another one. So there's Fired Dag1 and Powered Dag1 that combine. And I had that out recently, and it's roughly the same height as this, if not a little bit smaller. And that was about the same height as Scorponok, give or take. So, yeah.
Fire Dag 1, Powered Dag 1, Sixo has one. What's
next? Exactly.
There we
go.
There
you go. So are you guys feeling enabled then, are you?
Yeah.
So do you know how fussy I am though with the whole kind of getting that Megatron that win the perfect box? Yes. But my issue is because these look beautiful when they're vibrant and bright, and the amount of white plastic on every single one of these figures except the baddie. I can understand what you're saying now. about how tricky it is to find them in just kind of
it's a really noticeable thing. I mean, you frequently you see pictures of them online and they're just yellowed. Particularly Exkaiser, it's obvious.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Godmax is the one that I would get if I could. I absolutely love that set, and I love that set because of everything we talked about. The overlap into G1 and what it is, a combined mode. There's a lot of fun with it, and it's
Space Datsun. I would love
Space
the
Datsun.
Space Datsun.
This is great. Yeah, love that that box as well. The box set it comes in as well. Just imagine that on the shelf. As a kid, you're going around. I would pick that up immediately.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I adore it. Like, it's amazing. I love the fact that it feels like Transformers is bookended by Takara. Because they gave us Transformers.
Yes,
and it's kind of like it starts with Diaclone, goes through Transformers, and then ends with this.
Yeah,
I kind of like that's how it feels. Like it's kind of like Takara have taken it back and then moved it on into something new.
I completely agree.
Different. It's like Transformers twist from Diaclone, and then Takara twists it into this, and it's kind of like the Takara twist bookend either side of it with something.
Well,
cool.
I think that is so spot on. Really is spot on. And, I've talked a bit, and we all have talked a bit before on this pod about kind of the evolution of Transformers and seeing how the brand evolves from one year to the next. For me, it's fascinating to kind of consider what Takara were doing, as you said, from the early days of Diaclone, particularly when it, pre-Car Robots Diaclone, when it was all really like sci-fi robot stuff, to then go through Car Robots and then all of Transformers, and then kind of come out at this sort of like super robot vibes thing, and it's just so different, but you can also see the evolution of it all from one stage to the next as well, which I think is really cool. I mean, I did an article a while back talking about because some of the Brave toys are actually repainted Transformers. Later on down the line, you get like a repainted G1 Deathsaurus and things like this as Red Geist, which is super cool, which I have. It's really nice. And it's great because it's like a G1 toy that was never repainted. Suddenly you can have it in a different color, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I talked to, and I just termed a lot of it as post-Transformers. We often talk about pre-TF. I termed it as post-TF. And I think that is accurate to sort of say how it like bookended it almost. You've got the before and the after, which is cool.
It's just funny how it's just Takara take it out on their own terms of it. Transformers. It's a real nice ending to Transformers, which Transformers is still going, but to G1, it kind of feels like it just ends really nicely with this whole new phase of this. But like, what's interesting to me as well is like, it feels like it's before its time for the West. Like, I can see why they wouldn't have brought it over. Like, I wish they had. But you like feel like if this would have been maybe 5 years later or something, like with the way like Japanese have started to explode over here with Power Rangers, and then they were starting lifting lots of anime and stuff and toy lines. Like, you feel like this would have hit more, squarely then.
Yeah,
it just was too early for us.
I completely agree. Yeah, it was sort of pre the big boom of like Japanese properties coming over here in a way, wasn't it? So
such a shame, because you look at it and like, just imagine what this could have been like over here, like what they would have done, other colors they could have put it in, and just how just the different kind of attitude we would have toward Brave and stuff like that. Now,
isn't that part of that becomes part of its desirability now, though, doesn't it? Because
of part of the appeal. You're right.
Yeah, because of its time and where it was, and that it bridged that gap, and we can look back and be like, oh, that was so cool, but we missed out. It's like at the beginning when you're just saying about when you see something in a catalogue that there's always that thing when someone brought in Jetfire and everyone would be like, oh, what is that? It's amazing. It had that same wonderment to it as well. So, and the fact that we're getting that, like me getting that now, I am getting that kind of feels of the wee boy Richard who bought in Jetfire when I was at primary school, and I was like, where did that come from? What is this? And that's what I'm really enjoying about Brave, actually. There, and I'll be honest, I was not interested at all previously with the Brave stuff. I just was like, not at all. Didn't really see where it would fit, and I think partly as well, maybe I discounted it purely because having seen what you have, Sixo, it's big chunky toys, right? It takes up a lot of space.
It's huge,
but I would much prefer to have that on the shelf with the best love and respect to third party stuff. But I would much rather have that on my shelf than third-party stuff of a similar size or bigger.
For me, yes, and that's we've talked in a couple of previous episodes about the fact of like moving away from third-party and stuff like that. And to me, I think it has been that revelation of there being more in terms of vintage robots, transforming robots beyond Transformers. It has been that revelation of like, actually, what would I rather experience? Some other super cool transforming robots from Takara or Bandai or whoever it is, or third party. Do you know what I mean? And I know where my heart is going.
Yeah,
and
totally. Same.
There's a connection there that you didn't really know about before, isn't there? As well, there's a kind of I think that's what's so interesting about Brave is like when you first getting into like Transformers and stuff, and you see that. I think a lot of people easily dismiss it as, it just looks like something from Power Rangers. It's
true.
Nothing to concern me. But as you've been around a while, and then you start getting to not finishing collecting, but you kind of start finishing off bits and bobs, and you start looking for something new and different. This suddenly blips on the radar as something else. It's like, oh, actually, it's not like Power Rangers at all. And you look beyond the first glance, and you start to see it does look. I can see the vintage G1 style in there. I can see this Transformers elements.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That's part of its appeal, though, isn't it? That it's hidden in a niche. It's always been this obscure thing that no one's really interested in, except for a small group.
Yeah, exactly. Small but dedicated group.
Totally. Yeah.
But I think you're right, and the tactile thrill of a lot of these toys. I mean, don't get me wrong; they have a sort of I don't want to say they're cheaply made or anything like that, but they do have a sort of slight like a creak to them, and part of that will be because they're 30 whatever years old and everything as well. But I think they are toys to be careful with. Like they're not super robust or anything like that, and they do wear and everything, as I said earlier. But I still think that there's a real tactile thrill of holding these things. And I think when you get to see stuff like the Exkaiser transformation, the combination gimmick and that, and you realize, wow, there's a real magic here. There's like a real design and engineering creativity that something I've just never seen before. It feels familiar and yet it's not. It's pushed the boundary in some way beyond the horizons of what I know as vintage robots,
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
It's like getting to experience a new G1 again.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Really is.
You're totally right. You are.
Cool. Well, I'm just glad you guys like it. Jason, I was happy to be your wee boy today, taking you through a little adventure there. That's, I appreciate very happy for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly. We're both enabled. That's the reality of it. I'm going to resist looking,
Well, I'm going to get myself a Dino Geist, pretty sharpish, and I've got to get another God Max. I absolutely have to.
Yeah, I can't believe you sold that. Oh my goodness.
No,
Muppet.
That's heartbreaking.
Muppet.
I would like to get some of them, but it might be a bit tough for me to brave those waters.
Oh dear! God, this has been such a drain.
Moving swiftly on, eh? Right. Well, if you want to get more banter like that, then of course you can go and check out our Patreon, can't you? Because there's, as we said earlier, there's loads of stuff on there. There's like, 90-something minisodes, 60, 70 mini-series chapters. It's absolutely incredible. It's also, dare I say, and I don't use this word without really meaning it, I use it cautiously, but it's popping. It's absolutely popping on that Discord of ours.
We've had popping for a while.
Proper popping. Yeah. And you want to get on there is what I would say. I mean, our Discord community is going from strength to strength, right? Like it's pretty busy on there nowadays. And,
so I am struggling to keep up with all those different channels at the moment as well, because there's a lot of chat going across everywhere. I had a lovely chat with everyone about collecting thoughts the other day and how we're all doing that, and a database chat, nerding out about that. It was really fun, actually. And just a general chat. There's a lot of people that have joined recently as well, which has been really nice. So,
yes.
Yeah, it's great.
I think that's it. It's gone beyond just the pod. It's not a Discord that exists just to talk about what we talk about on the podcast. Like there is that bit to it, that there's a channel for that and everything. But most of it is just the people on there just, I don't know, hanging out and talking about robots and life and everything in between. So
exactly. a lot of good friendships on there, I think, from what I'm seeing, which is really nice.
Well, a couple of the UK guys have started meeting up and stuff now, and it's
oh really?
So that's
good.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
Cool.
Well, like at events and things and that. So
of course,
it's really lovely to see. So very, very cool. But there are obviously some other perks to being on our Patreon as well. One of which, of course, is that you get to ask some questions. Isn't that right, Jason?
You do indeed. That's very true. So I'm just going to come out of all of our photos. And, right, so have you two had a chance to kind of prepare for these? Oh, Liam's looking.
No.
I'll come to you second, Liam. Don't worry. It's all right. Okay, so we're going to go first question from Spiderfather. Are there any figures in your collection that were added more because of your regard for the depiction in media, such as a comic or a cartoon, over actually enjoying the toy? And if there was, did you replace it with a better one at the first opportunity? So, Sixo. And if you're needing time to look...
Should have given this more thought, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go first, right? Because I've got mine, which is Marvel Death's Head, which is not a Transformer. But it was quite an unusual pickup. I don't have any of the Marvel figures. And it's a great representation of Death's Head. I didn't ever get the replacement. There's a new one that came out, a kind of more kind of comic book accurate colorings and stuff like that. But yeah, I bought that purely for the depiction of the character. That's why I got it.
Did you not enjoy the toy though?
It was all right. Yeah, it's a kind of Marvel, one of those Marvel figures. I just it's a bit spongy, if I remember. So it's it's kind of fun to pose, but I'm not really into action figures. I suppose that's what it is. So it's not the type of thing that I would play with. If that, it was just fun to have it and then put it in different scenarios. It sits on the shelf with a lot of Chug figures currently as well, so it scales quite nicely.
Yeah,
but I purely bought it. I purely bought it because it was Death's Head, which I love that character. So Liam,
sense.
you've got yours. Let's go to you.
Yeah. So this one's a good one for me because I've got too many to list. I'm very easily suckered in by things like this, like adverts and cartoons. But any kind of media, if a character pops up, I'll be like, "Oh, I really want a toy of that now." If I like them, but like one of the ones I can think of most recently, it's quite a few years ago, but the Rack and Ruin toy from Cyberverse.
Oh, the Cyberverse one, right?
Just to get Rack and Ruin. Somebody got it me for Christmas. I put it on my Christmas list, and it was, it's a fine toy. It's all right, but it's the fact that it's Rack and Ruin, and that's the only reason I bought it. It's like those guys.
Yeah, it's a really good example, actually. Yeah, because
I think I missed that figure. I don't know if I've seen. Yeah,
I saw it in the supermarket. It's fun. That's the thing. But I wouldn't have given it a second look necessarily if it weren't for the fact that it's Rack and Ruin.
Yeah,
really, really fun. But yeah, that's the only reason I have it is purely because it is the character.
Yeah, I would get that.
Also great in the show in Cyberverse, as well as obviously the old comics.
Brilliant. Yeah, good stuff. Sixo, what about you?
Well, I hope this is not a cop-out, this answer, but
here we go.
It's an interesting one, because when you talk about, like, I really zoned in on the bit about, why did you get it? You got it because it's a depiction in media, and that's what you want, over actually enjoying the toy. And in my mind, it was like, so the premise
buying
there...
time, Jason. That's what he's doing.
No, I'm trying to explain my logic.
He's thinking, look at him.
He's still looking.
Scrambling around.
He's doing that kind of, the marketing speak thing. He's reversing the question backwards. And...
I'm trying to explain the logic. Because in my head, it was like, it almost spoke to like a toy that maybe you don't enjoy so much, but that you have it purely because it represents the character in a way that otherwise it wouldn't. And to be honest, that was true, I think, for me of... not a lot, but like some third-party toys. And, that's why I kept a number of them for so long. And there were definitely, I've started selling off a lot now, but there were definitely, and there still are, third-party toys that I own that I don't really like transforming or handling, but as a representation of the character, it's like the best option available or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So aesthetically it looks...
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Okay. It looks good on a shelf, but as soon as you pick it up, you're kind of
it's just not fun. Yeah.
There was a long time there, wasn't there? This hobby for a few years became mostly that, like finding depictions of characters. And it's like a race almost, going through it. Like, oh, somebody's done this character. It's like, oh, it might not be great, but it's the best one available now.
Yeah.
And it fills the spot, and it's that kind of like horrible part of it where you stop after a while and go, oh, why am I doing that? I'm not enjoying it. I'm just doing it for the sake of having the character.
It's exactly that.
filling a gap. Yeah.
Placeholder. The word placeholder was thrown around a lot. Like this is a placeholder, and you're like, you're spending nearly £100 on that.
That's a lot of money for a placeholder.
Do you know what I mean? But it is a kind of mad thing. And look, don't get me wrong. I don't want to. We've talked about it in a couple of recordings recently, and I don't want to flog a dead horse or whatever. I'm not trying to be down on third party all of a sudden or anything like that, because I still think a lot of those toys are really good. But I think it was more, this question really hit for me on that kind of psychology of prioritizing a representation of a character over a fun toy. That was where I think that was why my head went there, if that makes sense.
Yep. Totally. That's good.
That's a really, really, really articulated way to be evasive. I like it.
And not pick a specific thing.
And not actually.
You didn't actually choose anything. Just all of third party.
And I thought I got away with it too if it wasn't for that pesky Liam.
Always listening. I always know to be brave.
Always calling me out on my bullshit. Yeah. I see. Next question.
Brilliant. Well, I'll save you and get to the next question. Exactly. So next question is from Simon Elvin. Excluding Power Master Optimus Prime, which of the G1 1988 releases would you like to see given an updated mainline legacy release next? And why is it Slapdash? Says Simon. Okay, we know what he wants then. That's good. Sixo, what do you reckon for you?
I mean, I actually probably would say Slapdash, because I think the original I had as a kid. We've talked about Slapdash on the pod before. I think we had it as one of our hidden gems somewhere along the line. Did I?
Yeah, you did. You guys did that. That's right.
I still don't own one. It's one I need to get.
Oh, do you not?
I really need to get.
Incredible toy.
I got mine from Thew, I think. Yeah, I did. I bought mine off of Thew back in the day.
Good old Thew. I would love to see Slapdash given a legacy makeover. I'd love it if they kept the Power Master gimmick, even if it was just like, it didn't actually need to have the engine in to transform. If it was just like a little man that folded up or something, I'm sure they could, do that maybe if the budget allowed. But I think it'd be fun to see, because we had what's his name? The G2 dude that was in the Wreck and Rule packs.
The
guy with the stuff. The Rotoforce man.
I can actually see the toy on the shelf.
Yeah. You know the one I mean.
Yeah.
I should know as well.
Tim.
Twisty Tim. Thank you.
Twisty Tim.
Yeah, I have the original vintage Twisty Tim, and you have the legacy one. One of the Rotoforce, but he was Leadfoot.
That's
there we
the guy.
Go. Yeah, it just wasn't on the tip of my tongue. But I thought that was quite an unusual release at the time, because it was that kind of IndyCar or what have you, and I think this would be fun to see as well.
Yeah.
So that would definitely be one. But if not him, maybe Getaway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Getaway would be
definitely needs a new toy.
Yeah. I'd expect Maz to choose Getaway, because he's got a soft spot for it.
Yeah, I just want to get away.
Yeah.
You want to fly away?
I want to fly away. I want to fly away.
Yeah.
Liam, what about you?
Well, this year is really good, actually, because this year there's so many toys that still haven't got like modern equivalents or haven't been updated. There's like,
it's true.
Oh man, like the Sparker bots, like Fizzle. Like I was at my mum's recently and I found my old was it Revenge of the Fallen guzzle where they did one in the movie line, and I was like looking at it going, man, we do need a new one of these. But for me, it would be Backstreet. Like, I would have picked the Pretenders because Cloudburst. I'm like, I would have loved to see that. They desperately need it, but this is a whole conversation. But for this, I would probably just say Backstreet because it's such a cool car mode, such a cool robot mode. Little guns over the shoulders. It'd be really nice to see that guy come back.
Yeah. I was going to say, are you looking forward to the day that Backstreet's back?
All right. Yeah.
Backstreet's back. All right.
Oh my God. We're back again.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm going to bring the flavour.
How many of the lyrics do you know?
Yeah,
hang on.
Exactly.
That's what we're going to find out.
This is we need to be careful. This is going to be our TFN.
Went to Resorts World, the TFN Resorts World to see New Kids on the Block and the Backstreet Boys as supergroup NKOTBSB, baby.
I have questions. I have many questions.
Jeez.
Go on then, Jace.
Kind of the Don.
My So I keep switching because I thought one of you guys might choose this, but you didn't. So I'm going to go back to my original choice, which is Quick Switch, because I'd love to have a six changer within Legacy Line. Yeah. I think that'd be very awesome. And I really like Quick Switch as well. And look at his legs compared to Brave. He's got the same legs as the Brave figure that you showed us at the beginning. That green guy. The green train guy.
And then you could get a Kill Switch repaint of it as well.
Well, there you go. Exactly. That's it. Yeah.
Hexadecimal.
He really is due one because he was done dirty with the one toy he got in Titan's Return.
Well, I was going to ask about that because there is the Titan's Return, of course.
Yeah, there is.
But it's just 6-shot. It is. There's no drill. It's just 6-shot.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it is basic. Yeah, it is 6-shot really.
It is just repainted, just in the boxes. I used to have it and it was very disappointing.
I'm going to slightly cheat as well because my other choice was Dreadwind as well because I love the head sculpt on that figure and again going back to what you were saying, Sixo, just having like a kind of Power Master gimmick within Legacy and stuff like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but again, another one that was it was what, Power of the Primes that was done. That guy?
Yeah, it was, but it was kind of nice, but it didn't. Yeah, it was quite. A bit of a slab, should I put it that way?
Right.
So
plus, that was 8 years ago.
Don't even go. Honestly, I've been doing this when I'm putting together Titan's Return episodes, and I'm just like, what?
Shocking, isn't it?
That's terrifying.
Well, Titan's Return was 9 years ago now.
Yeah. Do you know? I think
this is mad. It's mad, isn't it? Really,
we're gonna get a shock though, because what we talked about on the kind of looking forward to 2025 episode, and when we were saying about how epic the 40th anniversary was, and Spiderfather mentioned this, didn't he? About how many releases there were last year, and we're getting so much stuff, which I'm loving, but I think it's going to accelerate that feeling of just like, when did that happen? Because, there's so much coming and we're going to be like, wow, that was X number of years ago and stuff like that. But
it's crazy, isn't it?
It is. Right, last question. And this is from our good friend, Many Streaker, awesome member of the community and also excellent at editing us lot together for our YouTube. Short.
Very true.
What is your favorite mini-con?
Bring that back.
Single one, not a team. So you got to choose one favorite mini-con. So, Liam, what are you thinking?
Leader one.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting in there. So I'm going. No, I'm going.
Done.
There we go.
Done.
Leader one.
Look at that. Okay, nice. Excellent. Liam, what about you?
The one that turns into a skateboard?
He's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Who's he?
That'll do, will it? That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That it.
Job done.
Yeah.
You can pick teams. I wanted to go with the space team, because I really like the one that turns into a little rocket. There's the space station type guy, but it said no teams. So
yeah, no teams. You got to choose one.
Skateboard guy.
Okay, cool.
What was the name of the skateboard guy?
I don't know. Skate Z.
Skate Z.
Nephew of Skid Z.
Skid Z, yeah, but Skate Z.
I don't know if I've ever seen
Skate
that.
Z, yeah. I don't know. It's from the it's Perceptor, isn't it?
Perceptor team.
Yeah.
I struggle to choose here, Many Streaker. You sneak because there's so many good ones. But I'm going to go Makeshift, who was part of the emergency minicon team, and he's like this kind of dual copter style little minicon. Looks awesome, very awesome little guy. Is the propellers of the in his robot mode, the propellers collapse down, so that it looks like he's got two Gatling guns on the ends of his fists, which is brilliant, and they spin.
I have that one, Jason. Actually, that's one of the ones I have.
Yeah, me too. I've got that guy's set as well.
Great one.
Maz has been posting as well, and I'm cheating here, but like there's the whole Ocean Glide, which is part of the Sea Minicon team.
Oh, Jason, you weren't here when
the submarines and everything. Yeah, God.
That happened on the show, didn't it? Where
it did.
Discovered that and then fell off a cliff.
Oh, Maz
all of the repaints.
He went full Maz on it, didn't he? Let's be fair. He went the full Maz.
Yeah.
Just enabled himself. It was on a mini-sode. It was on our Patreon, and he just got so enamored with some of these mini-cons, like the little submarine one. He was like, I have to have that in every single colour it exists.
It's so endearing. It's brilliant.
It's good.
That's really funny.
And he has done it.
Do you know, it's really nice, actually, Menestrika asking that question, because I loved mini-cons when they came out, and they're such brilliant little fiddle bots. Great, fun, and really nice transformations, really great size. Put them in your pocket, take them to work, they become a desk bot. It's great. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Menestrika loves his mini-cons. It's
Mini-Streaker.
Mini-Streaker. I nearly said Mini-Streaker.
That's what he should call himself.
Yeah.
That's what he should be calling himself based on his question.
Liam, I found your little skateboard lad. I found out what he's called. He's called Grindor.
Oh, of course. Well, there we go. Okay, then.
There's a little picture of him. There's a little picture of him.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Look at him. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's seen something, hasn't he? Old Grindor. Oh dear.
Yeah. There he is.
It's an excellent choice. Excellent choice.
He's seen a few too many profile pics.
Oh no, that's brilliant.
Hasbro like, yep, we're not using that name again.
Never again. Exactly. Yeah.
Has different connotations these days. I think.
Absolutely.
Grindor and Tinder. There's a duo con they should do.
Swipe left. Oh dear. Thank you, patrons. They were excellent questions. Brilliant. Yeah. It's brilliant.
They were, weren't they? So yeah, that is just a little perk of our Patreon that you can get. Get your question read out and everything if you submit one, which is really nice. And you can also get your name read out by Mr. J Swags as well, which is always exciting. So maybe pronounced correctly, maybe not. We don't know.
It's all a bit of a miracle, really, isn't it? Yeah. You never know.
I mean, at this point, I feel we should shout out to our good friend Rob Schwartz, who got mentioned in the last episode, although was titled Rob Suarez, and clearly found it amusing enough that he's actually changed his name on our Discord and everything. So he's now Rob Schwartz brackets Suarez, which is fantastic.
Brilliant.
Absolutely the best way to meet Jason's antics head on. I think. So
thanks, Rob. Sorry, Rob.
Rob is a star. Rob is an absolute star. A brave star.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, God. Who have we got tonight, though, Jason?
Okay, so we have quite a few this week as well. We have Exalt, who's come in at an apologetic ramp. Hello, Exalt. We have Don Lubecki as well. Sixo's butler, right up there. Yes,
the Don, like Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, must be. Fun Bus as an apologetic ram.
Amazing.
Such a great name.
That's brilliant. Yeah, Fun Bus. Love that. It's excellent. And then who else do we have? We've got Man in Pig, Tommy Wommy. Hello, Tommy. Charles Hanson is coming at Sixo's butler. And that's it for this.
Ooh, yeah, there we go. No mispronunciations.
No mispronunciations
that we know of this time.
So. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for signing up. So yeah, do check us out at patreon.com/Triple Takeover. Get all of that good stuff and more. And we do also have a sponsor for the evenings. Worth mentioning that we are sponsored by tfsource.com, so you can check them out for all your Transformers needs.
And we do have a Redbubble, which you can check out. Go over there, buy some stuff. It helps us out. And we're also on social media, so let us know what you think of Brave. What are your favourite toys? What do you think of it versus Transformers? Yeah, let us know. So, Sixo.
Yeah?
We need an update.
Oh, what? On the...
Oh, yeah.
On your wall with Instagram. How's it going so far?
I'm still at SixoTF, not anywhere there's an at. Unfortunately, it's down. Still down. Buggers.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
Oh,
I hope you get it back.
I really do.
There's got to be someone there who can help.
I got in touch with someone at Meta. I did reach out. I managed to acquire an email address and got in touch with them. And they replied back basically saying, "Can't help you. Here's the URL for the helpline or whatever." And the thing is that there is no helpline. You can't speak to anybody on the helpline. It's just a community thing, which is useless to me.
Yeah.
So. So
is it the thing where it keeps doing saying, "Do you need further help?" And you go, "Yes," and it just keeps going. Here's some more questions already answered. Yeah. Okay, but this isn't the one I need.
Yeah,
so,
you're in a little perpetual loop of uselessness. Yeah, exactly.
Dangles that carrot of click here for further help.
Yeah,
there is never any further help.
There is no system to actually speak to someone. That's the thing. So, but I've got a couple more leads to try. So let's see.
Okay, fingers crossed. Yeah. Do you know what it normally ends with, though? Is it normally ends with somebody with Meta asking for your passport? And then they just go, send us your passport, and
good.
And then you do that, and then
I've seen BBC One TV exposés about this kind of thing.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
normally ends with a grandma getting a life savings pinch and stuff.
Yeah, honestly, it just feels very dodgy.
Jeez. So you can find me at Sixo anywhere there's an @ that isn't Instagram. Let's put it that way. So, no, my Threads account is fallen by the wayside as well because of it.
Oh no,
Can you
really?
Stop stealing my line now. This joke's been running forever. Now you don't even realise you're doing it. You're just doing it naturally now.
That is how I roll.
No. Yeah.
Okay, my task for you next week.
I'll come up with my own line.
Come up with something. Be brave.
Yeah,
I think it needs to be based on
adventurous.
calling out Meta, basically, until they fix it. That's what.
Oh yeah.
Could be, couldn't it? Yeah,
anyone listening who's at Meta, please sort out Sixo TF, please. You know, because there's going to be people, right? There's going to be people.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's nobody there anymore. It's all AI, Jason.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Maybe the AI is listening.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, and then beep, gone.
Yeah.
So, Liam, where are you?
Jason.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you first. Where are you?
Well, someone go.
But I feel like now, I do my own bit, and I feel like you've already done it. I'm Toybots anyway. There's an @
Yeah.
Copyright,
that's the OG.
MXVZ,
That's what we want.
The OG.
Yeah, OG. And I'm J Swags. Anywhere that isn't X. I'm not really there anymore. Yeah, just J Swags me. I wonder if that works. I don't know. jswags.com.
Wow.
There we go. That'll do something.
A website.
Jason is also on Blue Sky and Instagram,
That's true. I am.
We all are.
Very true.
Go find him.
You're on Instagram, Jason. I might have to give that a go.
I am. I've still got my account. You know, I don't want to draw attention to it. Because I might be randomly banned for pretending to be.
Exactly.
I don't know what.
Yeah, exactly. Jason, I think I was on it the other day, and as I was scrolling up, there was a little sign popped up that just said "No Sixos allowed."
Exactly.
The second S was backwards.
I do keep going to the search bar to see if it suddenly reappeared, but you know it's
and it hasn't.
No
Sixos Club.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly.
Hey ho.
I think they're renaming it to a 6 No.
6 No. Yeah. Fortunately, I'm very brave about it all, so it's fine.
Yes.
And on that note, I think we'll call it a day. It's been a lot of fun talking about Brave. I've really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see which, if not both of you, is going to be enabled on some of these toys. Maybe a few purchases
Jason,
in the future.
Gonna be Jason?
Yeah, it's probably me.
Maybe we'll have to see. So, and indeed, people in the audience as well. Hit us up. Let us know what you think of Brave, as Liam says. And otherwise, we'll catch you for the next one.
Samurai Pizza Cat, almost.
It's Samurai Pizza Cats, isn't it? Oh my god.
Will somebody please cue that boy?
Samurai Pizza Cats.
Oh yeah!
Who do you call when you want some pepperoni?
Samurai Pizza Cats.
Right on!
They're stamping out crime, and you know that ain't baloney. They're Speedy Cerviche, he's the leader of the bunch.
That's right.
A heck of a fighter, makes a heck of a lunch. And little Polyester, who's never afraid of going into battle when the bad guys invade. Here's Guido Anchovy, a wild romantic rover. This cat gets down with a love hangover.
Here come the Pizza Cats.
They're so bad, they've got more fur than any turtle ever had.
Stronger than old cheese.
Stronger than cheese.
Stronger than dirt.
Stronger than dirt.
You step on their tail.
Out of my tail.
And you're gonna get hurt.
Don't hurt me.
Samurai Pizza Cats.
They're fighting crime all over town.
3, 2, 1. Pizza Cats are on the run.
The big cheese is the villain who's lower than low. It's a rotten shame he lives in Little Tokyo. We've got a nasty bad bird and some nasty ninja crows. As soon as someone finds a script, we might begin the show. Sit right back, kick up your feet, and turn the sound up high. And if you want the full effect, go eat a pizza pie.
Take it.